Marty, what's up? How you
What's
doing?
going on,
Welcome
Dalton?
back. Yeah, we got another snow day, and we didn't
Cold
get on
day.
early, but yeah. I guess it wasn't a snow day. It was just a cold
And
day.
it is cold. It's windier than hell outside.
Yeah, did you get a chance to go outside? And
Oh, I was outside, but we didn't do our walk outside. We did it in the house today.
yeah, same here. We avoided that. I figured you'd tell me some story you were out golfing.
No, you know what? I tried to find a course that was open today, but I couldn't find any courses.
Yeah.
But next Monday, I already have a tee time in Florida.
Oh man, lucky you. That's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Now do you rent clubs or do you take yours down?
We ship stick them.
Oh, okay.
They just
Yeah.
picked them up at 2 o'clock today. We set them outside, and I saw the FedEx guy come and take them.
Yeah,
I wish
perfect.
I wished them luck on their
Yeah.
travel.
That's good. So, did you say what course
We're in
you're
St.
playing?
Petersburg. We're going to play two courses. We're in St. Petersburg. I can't
Okay.
remember the names of them. My sister-in-law lives down there. I've never been there. I mean, I've been to Florida once in college for spring break, and then we went one time when we were first married. Nate was young, and we went with Marianne's mom. So it's going to be an awesome time.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be. You'll get out of the cold. Obviously, it could have been this week. This week would have been a good week to go.
Yeah, and next week it's going to be in the mid 30s here, so that's
Yeah.
balmy.
Yeah, we need it though. It's thaw out a little bit.
I
I
saw on Facebook in Alaska it was 70 degrees, 74 degrees below zero without the wind chill. And you know the thermometer was where that temperature gauge was right below, right above a liquor store.
and that was still open.
Yeah. Oh heck yeah.
Yeah. I guess you probably need it to survive. Need some
Yeah.
stuff to warm you up. But
Yeah. The only thing about these cold days, it's just beautiful sunshine though.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, just I feel like my body hurts even though I'm not outside. It just like when I look outside, my body
Yeah.
starts to ache.
Yeah. Well, you can always come shovel with me, and I'll teach you how to really ache your body.
Yeah, I wish I had a sauna in the house. I would just
Oh, that we're looking at that right now.
yeah.
We're
Well,
real close
it's
to getting one and put in our workout room.
yeah, I mean, they're important. They're really helpful. I mean, just from the mind and the body, they're critical to have. I think I was what was I watching? They were saying that every house has a sauna, something like that. Um, just the idea that that was their culture. Their culture really appreciated saunas, but
Yeah, my sister has one, and we use it when we go down there. So, and I got a lot of impurities in my system, so I could use it, get them out of my system.
yeah, no, they're very helpful for multitude of reasons. But so yeah, we were just we are kind of getting talking about the fact that there's another school day off, and now I forget the rules. Do you remember the rules? Like, do you get to still practice on
Well,
days
it's
like today?
changed so much since I've been a coach, but no, they come out and pretty much tell you can. I mean, if you're going to not have school, then I guess you don't have practice.
Yeah,
And I mean, I get it. But I mean, I would have back when I was, I would have lost my mind.
yeah.
A lot of times, I can't even say what we would do. So we would alter some things.
Improvise.
Yeah, improvise. Yeah, spur of the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. I think that that's the challenge is one thing that is definitely true today that was not as true then. There are a lot more wrestling rooms built in people's garages, houses, barns today than there have ever been. I think
Yes, there is.
yeah, I think COVID definitely helped that out, but I just
Yeah,
think that
that's
wrestling
the,
and
that's the only good thing COVID did. People got their own wrestling facilities.
Yeah, everybody just bought mats and put them
Yeah,
somewhere. So yeah, I think that people have the ability to adapt and figure it out and get whatever work is needed done and
you
yeah,
know,
but a lot of people don't. So
I'm going to put something out there though, just so for people to understand, even if they're somewhat experienced wrestling people, but then some of the non-experienced people, but people don't understand how hard it is when you like. I think Hananiga wrestles tomorrow, and you don't know how hard it is. There's kids that they don't. Yeah, they cut weight. There's no other way to say it. They cut weight, and they may not have a place to go to, and they may not have an aerodyne bike, and they may not have a treadmill. They may not have a room that you can turn up to 90 degrees and get a great sweat in. They may not have a scale. it's just like, it's a very hard situation for you. And I always, like when I was a coach, I always checked in on those kids and seeing if they needed help or whatever, if I could come get them, take them somewhere, get them to get a workout in, because it's to make a great program. You got to worry about those kids that don't have an outlet where they can work out, and some of them don't.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody's like, "All right, we don't have school today." Well, shit, no, it's not good. Sometimes
Yeah.
when you wrestle the next day.
Yeah. Well, so like for wrestling, I think people don't recognize how critical consistency is in the wrestling. Like in, what's fascinating about the season is, I always talk about it um, as a vision quest, right? So you start in November and then you end in February. And it's like by the time you're getting into, mid-January, late January, you're in a rhythm. You are like you're no longer huffing and puffing on your your jog. Now you're in a groove of
Yeah,
really working on your technique and working on your live wrestling, your situations and stuff. And so having days where you take off actually like that changes the ability for your body to stay in that rhythm. um so part of this situation teaches people to adapt and really find out if they really have the desire of reaching the highest level of that they can in that season. But then the other part of me goes, should we just take January completely off of wrestling so that we're not doing it?
no, I mean, I think that's what makes. Just think about back when you wrestled, and
Yeah.
just think about. I mean, I'm looking back to even like when I wrestled in the '70s and '80s. It's just like, your whole social life is gone.
Yeah.
You have no social life during wrestling season. It's just that you have to. Everybody's going out on Friday nights while you're making way for Saturday morning. You have multiple duels during the week. I mean, I think it's a hidden gem, the sport of wrestling. There's no other way to put it. We were just it's kind of ironic. We all used to own a golf course and we sold it. And we were looking through all of our people that we had names and where they were from and where they worked for us. 90% of those people on that list were wrestlers. It
Yeah.
was just like, and you being one of them,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just, we just, if they said I'm a wrestler, I'm like, all right, you're hired.
Yeah. Well, I think like what you're referencing though, like by being a wrestler, and specifically one that's chasing the highest level of success that they can chase, like it literally requires you to make hard choices, right? Again, we
At a
talk
young
about
age.
at a young age, right? Where other people will make excuses for you so that you don't have to do that, right?
Right,
Like today's a great opportunity where people will be like, "Hey man, it's too cold. Don't
right.
do it." And it's you have to find a way, even if it's by yourself, you have to find a way to get training in and focus somehow your energy to getting better that day. Like you have to get better. If you don't get better, it's a wasted day or you're going backwards. So I definitely agree with you. I think that it is a hidden gem in the sense that it has a secret mechanism in all of the challenges that present themselves, whether it's holidays, whether it's like you
Yeah,
said during the high school year where all your
yep,
friends are maybe going to do this and going to
yeah.
do that and you can't. You have to train for the hardest tournament. You have to train for the hardest fight of your life on a Friday, Saturday coming up after, New Year's where everybody else is trying to just hang out and pass time before spring comes. So yeah, I definitely agree. I think wrestling is that beautiful art that requires um, a higher level of discipline and concentration
You know what?
than other
Some of your
activities.
best workouts are your lonesome workouts. You're by
Yeah.
yourself, you know. And that was
Yeah.
kind of ironic because Fernie Silva, who wrestled for Hananiga, was a state champion. Wrestled, he was an All-American at come on, the Division II school,
Notre
Notre
Dame.
Dame, and then he wrestled for Indiana. I used to tell him that I'm like, because he would come in all the time, and I'm like, what the best way to envision yourself being a state champion. We used to have two doors in our wrestling room. Now the wrestling or the whole athletic facility has overtaken that, so we don't have the doors anymore. You used to be able to look right out and watch the sun come up every morning. So you'd be in there working out, and I'd walk in the mornings, and there you'd be. And I said, "What are you envisioning?" The podium. That's what he'd tell me. The podium.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, a vision quest. You really
Totally.
start to use, one thing I don't think we do enough of as coaches, is encourage people to start developing a creative imagination, right? Because when you're running on a treadmill and you're cutting 5, 10 pounds, like you have to think of a better place. You can't think of, oh, I'm running and I'm cutting weight and I feel exhausted and I don't want to do this. No, you have to visualize you getting your hand raised, you being in that moment where you're getting a takedown to win. You have to be playing the scenarios on in your head, and it takes a creative mind to actually put yourself there. So the vision quest is exactly that, because you have to create visuals of the future, and you have to pull yourself and push yourself to that moment. Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I loved the fact that you could get there. I could be on a treadmill and I could put myself in the state finals. And I used to tell this story a lot, but um, every year I would burn a CD with the Grand March on my CD. And every day when I would drive to school at 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning or whatever it was, I would listen to that song on repeat. And after school, at Belvedere, we had a parking lot where we had to drive from one parking lot to the next after school. I would listen to that song when I was driving from the parking lot to the other parking lot before practice. And it was like that was my method of continuously putting myself in that mental position of where I wanted to be. And obviously, I was there 2 out of the 4 years, and largely because I was visualizing constantly. So,
Yeah, it's kind of awesome. The person that taught me how to wrestle was Bob Larrick, who was in high school when I was probably third grade. And he would come over and we'd practice on a mattress in my basement, a mattress. But then when I got into high school, there was no headphones. It was late 70s. So we had no headphones. We had nothing. And there were days like first of all, we never had snow days, but there were some days that I didn't want to run outside because usually the best way for me was to run with the snowmobile suit on and all that stuff. But their parents, Bob Larrick's parents, had a stationary bike. We had no stationary bikes in the high school. We didn't have any. And they said, "Come on over, Marty. We could put it in the bathroom for you and turn the shower up." And that's what I did. And
yeah.
these parents were like 70 years old, and I'd knock on their door and they'd let me in. And the bike would already be sitting in the bathroom, and they'd turn the hot water on, and that's where I
Yeah.
would ride the bike to make weight.
Yeah.
And
That's a
then
secret.
and no music. I just
Yeah.
had to sit there and daydream.
I'm telling you, that might be a secret workout that if you ask somebody about that, if they've ever done one, they know that is a secret way to get off a lot of weight.
Yeah, right in a
Yeah.
shower, right? Put that humidity
Yeah.
in that room and ride like
Well,
hell.
again, we used to, you know, I don't think this is, if you ask any of the coaches, they'll tell you we didn't do this, but at Illinois, we used to have a sauna,
Everybody had a sauna.
yeah, well, we had an Airdyne bike that we could put in the sauna.
Everybody
Um,
did.
and yeah, and it was the same thing. So if you go in the bathroom, it's a little bit more of like a steam shower, a steam
Yeah,
room as opposed to a sauna, but
yeah,
still the same concept. But
yeah,
yeah, it's a great way to get break a sweat.
yeah. It
Um,
is.
but yeah, so hopefully some of those kids they figured it out today, and I'm
Yeah,
sure that the ones that want to be at the top, they will, and they did.
yeah,
So but yeah, so what about some college wrestling? Iowa wrestled last night. I'm assuming you watched it. I
you're
watched
assuming
it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
it,
about the was
go ahead.
were any matches specifically to you that were? I had a few matches that I was a little surprised on, but what did you think?
Well, I think that Aiello kid could be a national champ.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, it's such a wide open weight class. He looks good. He's tough. He's long. He's lanky. You know what he is? His composure is incredible.
Yeah,
He,
he knows how to win close matches like
he
last night.
does. And then
Yeah.
there's a few guys in that lineup that I'm just going, oh my God, open up, open up, open up. And one of them, I don't even want to tell you, but he got taken down right at the end of the match. But he hasn't, those guys just open up a little
Yeah.
bit. I watched Penn State against Indiana on Sunday. And I tell you what, there could be 10
Yeah.
All-Americans in that lineup.
Well, well, to go back to the Iowa duel, one, I was very surprised on how tough that 41 pounder wrestled Real Woods.
Yeah, well, I
He
don't.
di-
Is it
he
okay?
didn't.
Did he wrestle Real Woods tough, or did Real Woods not wrestle hard and
Well,
just kind of sat there was happy?
I think a little bit of both. I think that kid was not taking any shots, but he was really good at frustrating Real.
Fighting.
Yeah, and Real wrestles really well in that scramble, when two
Yeah,
guys are really engaging. That's why I think he scored so many points against what is it, Brock Hardy,
yeah,
the Hardy kid, because he was wrestling hard, where this kid was definitely wrestling not to lose as
yeah.
opposed to totally win. And he put himself in a position where, he almost had a scramble to win the match. But yeah, and then obviously the Frantic versus forget his name, Blockus. Now
Yeah.
Blockus was a Big Ten finalist last year, so he's not a slouch. He's very
No,
good.
and
And
he's fought in the UFC, right?
no, he's fought. He was gonna stop wrestling
Wrestling,
this
right?
last year and go into MMA, but he did go into MMA, but I think he just decided to
Wrestling.
keep wrestling,
That's awesome.
which why not, so he's a guy that he's going to be in the position to beat someone, and I think, the hard thing for a lot of wrestling fans to recognize is that, you know, there's a few weight classes where the gap between, one and, or let's say three or two. Well, in this case, Frantic was two and 8 or 9 or 10. There's not a big gap.
No,
Um, but you brought up those Penn State kids. Now, what I was going to ask you is Michigan brought out Dylan Ragusin out of redshirt, and they have the lineup that they think is the best lineup that they can put together.
to finish
But
second.
yeah, well, that's my question because I look at Penn
There's
State's lineup
nobody.
and it's just they're so tough.
Did you watch him on Sunday
Yeah,
against Indiana? Penn State.
yeah.
They score points. It's just nonstop.
Yeah, was it 16-3, 19-4, 8-1, 15-0, 17-0, injury default, 19-4, 13-4, 19-4, 14-2. I mean,
That's a lot of points, right?
yeah, it's
I don't think Iowa scored
lot of
that
points.
many.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Well, yeah,
a buddy of mine, Bill Nutting, who I'm great friends with, and from high school, kindergarten, whatever. We were talking last night. I turned him into a wrestling fan because he used to come to Hanega, but he's just like, oh my god. He goes, it could be 10 years before another team wins a national title, and it could be.
yeah. Well, here's the thing, last time we talked about this, you asked if they would ever win. What I said, do you remember what I said?
No,
Okay, well, let me refresh you because I was right. And so what I said was that before I've said before Cal had to recruit the best guys and keep those guys and make those guys turn out, like turn into what they were supposed to. But I said now the difference is because he has the NIL stuff, he not
right,
only gets to get people to come there who are going to be the starters, but now he gets to entice people, whether it's through transfers and then the depth of lineup. So
right,
if you go back and listen to his most recent press conference after the Indiana duel, what he says is, well, with the NIL, it's allowing kids to be more aggressive and get their scholarships paid for without us having to work for it. So now they're going to come here regardless. So now they're no longer, before a scholarship kid, a non-scholarship kid was like, well, why would I go there if Minnesota's going to give me a scholarship? Well, now because of NIL and the school collectives, now you might have three guys deep that get full ride scholarships.
right,
And if they're full ride scholarships, they're gonna still want to be around the best. And it changes the dynamic of how much depth they have, right? This 25 pounder, Braden Davis.
yeah,
Now, we haven't seen him too much yet. We haven't seen him wrestle, but
right,
he was not the starter. So
right.
if he becomes an All-American, it will be one of those examples of like, wow, even the guy on the backup is now All-American, so yeah, we'll see. It will be an interesting um end of the season to
I mean, I'm an Iowa fan, but I'm like,
yeah,
they're wrestling above where they're at
yeah.
right. I mean, they are. I mean, and
Who,
then Ben
Penn State
Cooter,
or
what?
Iowa? You're saying
Iowa.
Iowa?
I mean, for what happened, everything that happened in Iowa, they're doing a great job and they're filling
Yeah,
in the holes and stuff like that. But I also like their heavyweight, that Ben Cooter, the true freshman.
yeah.
He's a big kid, man. He's athletic as hell too. Did you watch some of his shots? Those low
No,
singles he was hitting.
yeah, no. I
I
watched
mean,
them.
he ran out of gas, but
Yeah, when I was watching them, I was thinking, man, I bet they really, really wish they had Tony Cassiope.
like this year, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Right.
would be. I mean, Tony would be. I mean, yeah, he would. I mean, he'd be in the same position he was in before, top three
Oh,
for sure.
but
And
he could have been in the finals this year for sure. But
yeah, but he's got a couple good guys. Like I'm looking at the Michigan guy that Lucas
yeah,
Davidson.
Tony owned him.
But still, I mean, there's yeah, he would have been in the same position, but he would have added a lot of points
Oh,
for Iowa's dual meets.
so did
Um,
Nelson Brands. So did
yeah,
Avis. It would just, I mean, it's just such stupid shit. Excuse my
yeah, yeah,
language. You can edit that out,
yeah. I can. Yeah, it is a
but you
little.
can leave it in too, though. Sometimes it's good to have a swear word now and
Well, I can. We can do it. I just have to put the explicit on the
then.
podcast. Say the
I
explicit podcast with Marty. Um, but yeah, I think I talked about this with somebody yesterday about the NCAA football stuff, and like I don't know how long, but some of the rules, some of the oversight stuff, obviously this situation punished Iowa. And as a wrestling fan, as a wrestling, enthusiast, man, just put the best lineup out and stop, punishing them for little things that maybe, if you looked into all these other programs, you'd find
like,
Pandora's box. It's like, you
yeah,
know, we want the best Iowa team as far as a tournament, just so that the NCAA is as electric as it can be, and it
yeah,
is much better with Nelson Brands, um, Tony, and um, Abasai.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I wish it didn't come out that way, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. But yeah,
I like it.
Michigan.
What'd you think about Monday Night Duel? I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I think at the end of the day, I think it's just. I mean, I just wonder. I mean, it was cold yesterday, so I don't know. I would assume that played a role as far as filling the
My
the
my sister
stadium.
took her son back to Iowa on Sunday, and they got like 27 inches of snow in Iowa City. She said she's never seen the roads so bad in her life in Iowa City.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So I mean, I guess it didn't really matter. It wasn't going to change the attendance
no.
that much.
How about this though? Here I'm going to put up another school in Iowa. You and I, the Schwabs are just they're those. I mean, there's the Schwab coach is just unbelievable. Utah Valley wrestled Iowa State on Friday, and Iowa State actually told people, if you can, don't come to the meet. If you don't, we
Yeah,
would rather not. It's on Big Ten plus. Well, then Utah Valley couldn't get over to you and I, so you and I goes, well, we're going to come to Iowa State then. And Kevin Dresser goes, yep, we'll fit you in. We'll let you wrestle. And they had a dual meet.
yeah, and
It's stuff like
no spectators.
none.
Yeah, they didn't allow them.
Sometimes that's not bad either, though.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think what we're concerned with is, again, the NCAA tournament is electric for a reason, right? Some duels, Penn State versus Iowa is electric for a reason. But throughout the year, you need to create the matchups so that you can let the story unfold of who is climbing the ladder and who's positioning themselves. And this is one of the things that a lot of the old school, a lot of fans just want kids to wrestle and not avoid um, not do the forfeits and stuff because it's like just let it play out. Obviously, towards the end of the year, it starts to play out because people are protecting their bodies as much as they can. But yeah, they needed to wrestle so that those kids could get competitive matches in to uh,
Yeah.
to get
They're
ready for
wrestling
the.
more, though, too, in the college back. They're starting to more tournaments, more duels and stuff.
Yeah.
And how about those Oklahoma? How about Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
I mean, John Smith's got him going, man. I mean, right?
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, they're right there for a trophy.
you think?
I do. Did you
Well,
watch
you,
Wrestle Pitt?
well, no, I did not watch
Oh my
them.
God, it's one of their biggest crowds they've ever had at Pitt,
Okay.
and
I'll have
they
to check.
got destroyed.
Pitt did.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, so if you give me the top five teams at NCAA's right now.
Top five. Okay, I'm thinking number one will be Penn State. I'm not sure, but I think that they're number one.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I'm thinking number two is between Michigan and Iowa State. Number three
Well,
is
four.
between no well, one. Okay, I'll give you 4 and 5 will be Oklahoma State and Iowa.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'm throwing Iowa there, but
I mean,
why did we say five? Because they don't get a trophy. Top four. I'll
top
give you the
four.
top four.
But
Penn
didn't
State.
I hear that four isn't getting a trophy, or are they still doing that?
I don't know.
Maybe I heard something
I'll make them
online.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So Penn State, Iowa State, Michigan, and Oklahoma State. I don't. I mean, yeah, it's good. Those everybody's wrestling for second and third and fourth.
Yeah.
But
Well, I would be,
I like Oklahoma State. Don't you remember
yeah,
when we were? Do you remember when we were at St. Louis and all those guys from Oklahoma State were in that establishment after the tournament?
yeah.
That
No,
was
I
good.
remember, and it was the year that they didn't
They won it.
they, no, but Oklahoma State didn't get a trophy.
They
They
won it.
lost. No, they let me look.
That was with Rollshalt and them. They won the national title, didn't they?
No, I thought they didn't get a trophy with them because it
So
was
they
with the younger Rochelle.
was it?
Yeah, and you were
I don't
telling
even
them
look at it.
you
I
were
don't usually.
you
I
were
don't even.
saying you were saying John Smith needs to be out. You said, "Oh, you." Do
I
you not
was.
remember that? You were
I
Oklahoma,
do.
and just for the fans out there, OU is Oklahoma University, not Oklahoma State.
Right.
So Marty was giving the Oklahoma State crowd a hard time.
I
He was
was.
trying to fight Jake Rochelle, who was
I
eventually a
wasn't trying to UFC fight him.
fighter.
I we were no.
Yeah, but
I
I
was.
believe that was the year that they didn't trophy, and I think Oklahoma did better than them, or they were close. Oklahoma was
Yeah.
doing well, but we'll look it up. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been a while since Oklahoma State has gotten a trophy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it would be pretty good for old John Smith to get a trophy
I would
before.
love to see Dayton Fix win a national title too.
Yeah. Well, I think 33 is him and Vito, and I think
Yeah.
that that's going to
Vito's
be
hanging. I don't know what happened. What do you think happened there?
what do you mean? Just hanging on? Like,
Well,
does
I
it
mean, he
look like
got
his
beat by that
body?
kid, he got beat by that true freshman, and he hasn't wrestled since.
Yeah, well, I think that kid that he lost to, the Lehigh kid, I don't think that kid's going to find himself in the deeper rounds at the nationals. I think he could All American for sure. I
Right.
think what that kid's gonna come in trouble is at the NCAA tournament, the guy who figures out how to win a match is the guy that's going to win.
Yeah.
So now he might still be all right, but you'll see. Again, this is one of the things that like I appreciate about wrestling is like when you wrestle somebody and there's nothing on the line, you'll wrestle a little bit more open. You'll be open to scrambles, you'll be open to certain positions that aren't supposed to be they're kind of 50-50 positions, but you're okay to wrestle there because you're in a dual meet and you just want to win, but you're not fully concerned about advancing in the next bracket. At the NCAA tournament, the kids that are ultimately paying attention to mat awareness, when are they hand fighting to open up a guy? Are they riding tough? Like all these things that kind of lead up to that one takedown in the third period, or that takedown and ride out in the second period, or whatever the situation is that makes them win. I think some of those guys that are veterans, they're veterans. I think they'll they'll persevere. I think Dayton Fix is unbelievable at that. He's very, very good at winning matches. He just hasn't won against a couple
Vito.
really, really good guys. And he lost to Roman Bravo Young as well.
Yeah, that Vito though. I mean, Arugio. I think he's just an unbelievable wrestler. I
Yeah.
mean, but I mean,
Yeah, be
those two guys in the finals, Dayton Fix and him would just be. It's one of the best matches you'll find in a long time.
yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely think that out of, you know, um, a lot of years in recent years, outside of looking at this Penn State, like Penn State might have, I mean, let's just look at, I mean, Bo Bartlett's ranked number 2. Now he's tough. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not putting him over Real Woods, but Levi Haynes, Carter Starachi, Aaron Brooks, Greg Kirk, that's 4. Well,
I'm
I
saying
don't,
5 national champs.
who do you think's the 5th?
We throw up their lineup.
Aaron Nagao at 33,
No,
Bo Bartlett at 41.
God, I
He's
hope not.
currently ranked number 2.
Yep.
Um, Mitch, well, Tyler Kasich, he's not ranked at 149,
Did you
but he
watch
looks
him
like,
wrestle? Did you watch
but
him
he,
wrestle on
I
Sunday?
watched him, watched him wrestle against Pitt because I
Okay.
watched him wrestle Noah Tapio
Okay.
he was from Illinois last
Yeah,
year.
he's from Moline, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
wrestling not Pitt, sorry, Hofstra. I
Yeah.
watched him wrestle.
How about that though? I don't need anything to look at. I just say, hey, I think he's from Moline.
Yeah, no, no. Well,
I
you got to
couldn't,
get,
I couldn't, I couldn't answer any other questions in the world, but I can tell you a wrestling question.
Yeah. Well, I only know him because he beat Tony Alvarado at the state tournament last year from
Oh, a
Belvedere.
true freshman then.
Yeah, he's a true freshman wrestling right now, and that's why
Wow.
I was very impressed with the fact that he, you know, and again, another thing, I'm happy that the kid found the right place to be able to wrestle right away. I mean,
Right.
he won.
Let's get back
But
to the fifth
all right,
national champion.
so Mitch Messenbrink
Yeah.
from PSU,
He's
165.
Yeah, they're saying him and Keegan O'Toole is going to be the match of the century.
Yeah, you
I just
think?
was reading that.
Well,
But then
he's number.
they're forgetting about David Carr.
Yeah. But I'm still asking you who that
Fifth
fifth
person is?
NCAA champ. Yeah, I don't think they have 5. I think they only have 4.
You do? Okay.
And
How many in
unless
the final? How many in the finals?
I think they have 5. I
Not
think Bo
6?
Bartlett. I think Bo Bartlett could be finalist.
Okay.
But Aaron Nagao at 133. I mean, he's going to have an unbelievable tournament as well. I
Yeah.
mean, which is possible, but I just don't see him beating Vito or Dayton Fix.
No.
Or even, I think Dylan Ragusin is going to be climbing the ranking ladder here soon. He just wrestled for the first time last week. He's a 3-time NCAA qualifier. He's very good. And
33 pounder, right?
yeah, I think he'll be in a position here soon to be on the rankings.
He's got that one problem.
What's that?
He doesn't score a lot of points. He's a very defensive wrestler.
Yeah, I think he can score points.
I hope so. It'd be great to see an All-American.
He tech falled Andy Hampton from Michigan State. So he scored some points in that match.
There's some big disparity this year in the Big Ten.
Yeah, with some, I mean, yeah, obviously
Teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, say that. Yeah. What
With
you
some
said teams?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think is ever gonna? Is there anything that's ever gonna change those programs unless they get the the financial support to kind of build the program up?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, you got to have the money to do it, and maybe make your facility look really good. And that's what I think Illinois is going to do.
Well, Indiana's got some good Illinois kids coming, and that's Angel Escobedo's first kind of recruiting class.
Yeah.
And Angel Escobedo is a very good coach and I mean, maybe it's not his first recruiting class, but he's got a couple kids. He just signed the St. Charles kid, the 38 pounder.
He did.
Who's very good. I've been very impressed with him this year. So that could turn out to be something pretty good. But yeah, I mean, Michigan State, I mean, should they even be in the Big Ten?
Well,
I'm
yes,
kidding. I'm kidding.
I
They
know,
just,
but
as a wrestling program, it's just always been a
it's
struggle.
crazy though. You throw Michigan State again in anybody else, any other conference, they'll probably win their conference.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
Big Ten. It's nuts.
I
And
know.
what? Here's another thing that's gonna drives me nuts is that like Washington, USC, who else is coming into the Big Ten in the next couple of years? They're not. They don't have wrestling.
UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA. They should mandate they have to start a wrestling program. You
Yeah, I
want
mean,
Big Ten start wrestling? It's
yeah,
California.
it
It's
would
one of the best
definitely,
wrestling states in the country.
yeah, but again, the logistics, I mean, you'd have to really get football to fork out some dough for travel and all that stuff.
Oh, you know what? They got all kinds of that money. They don't worry about that.
Yeah, but there's going to start
Oh,
having to pay all the football players. So I think the
Texas
budgets are going to
A&M's
get
paying
tied
their
up.
Texas A&M's paying their coach $26,000 a day after he got fired.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hope that I don't know. I just hope that they can figure out because everything comes down to budgeting and figuring out how to travel, get a good schedule, get in front of recruits, recruit people, get a coaching staff right. Like, I mean, think about that. Like coaching staffs, like you have to get a good coaching staff, and if you only have a certain amount of money, you're enticing coaches as assistant coaches who are going to be wrestling all the time with their athletes, for $30,000. That's not really, $50,000 for a college wrestling coach is, I mean, they're gone 7 days a week, probably, all throughout the day. Um,
It's
it
the
can be
Big Ten.
tough. Yeah.
Make them wrestle.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as recruiting coaches
Yeah,
to make a program,
they
it's not
got
always the
those
easiest.
universities have so much money. It's crazy.
Well, some of them do.
In the Big Ten, they all do.
how many coaches at the Hawkeyes are getting stipends from outside of the university's pocket?
I don't know.
Whether it's the Hawkeye Fund,
Right.
whether it's the RTC or everything else is subsidized so
Yeah.
well, and you think of Penn State, same thing. How many coaches do they? I mean, Penn State's got so many guys on the RTC.
Right.
I mean, you can't. David Taylor's not he's not a coach, but he's a coach, right? Like just having David Taylor being able to wrestle with Carter Starachi,
Yeah.
I mean,
What's
that's a
going to happen?
coach.
Where's he going to end up someday?
Who, David?
Yeah.
I think he'll probably stay in Pennsylvania.
So you think he's the next man in for Cal?
Um,
I
I
saw
don't
Cal
know.
wrestle at senior nationals in high school. So I'm trying to think how old he is. He's probably 40 some,
Yeah,
right?
but it sounds like, I mean, it seems like he's got a well-oiled machine. He doesn't have to go anywhere.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not saying he has to, but I'm looking at those guys. Somewhere they got to branch out. You
Yeah,
can only,
I would assume you're right. I mean, in for their own best interest if they want to get into coaching. But David's got his own youth and high school club.
right.
So I mean,
And
he's making.
he might actually want to work. Somebody would hire him like lickety split.
Yeah, he would definitely be a good hire for somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know anything else. Like I think college wrestling's getting to the end, and well, not even the end. They got still 2 months, but
Yeah.
um,
High
you
school
know, high
wrestling.
yeah, high school wrestling is almost to the finish line. It's like it's conference is next week. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I'm telling you, I think that little school up north in Illinois, right by the Wisconsin border,
Yeah,
I think they're gonna make some noise this year at the high school state tournament. And I think you know what? If they get the right thing, I think they could place the state as a team too.
yeah,
They're getting
yeah.
better. Onondaga
I
is getting better.
yeah, I bet. I mean, I saw that did we talk about their Batavia results?
No,
Now,
maybe
did
that was just this weekend. That's right. And
yeah,
they moved the tournament up. I give Batavia all the credit for moving the tournament up a couple hours and everything. And the Hononegah kids wrestled tougher than shit.
did they move it up or didn't it
Yeah,
start on Saturday?
no, yeah. Well, it was a one day. They made a 16 team tournament in one day, and
Yeah,
they didn't start wrestling until 11.
really.
Yeah, and it worked out
Yeah,
great.
yeah, I saw that they did really well, and they they had, I believe, four champs. Let me see,
No, not even
five,
close. No, keep going.
six champs.
Maybe one more.
Yeah, six individual
There
champs.
you go.
I
You
knew I
said
had it.
four. What are you?
I
What
okay, I
the
was
heck?
off too. I forgot.
Yeah.
Six out of 14 is very good. They
So
dominated
how
the
about
team.
7 out of 14 in the finals?
Yeah, and
That's good shit.
they beat Washington and Marmion. Those are
They did.
two, very impressive programs with
Yeah.
a deep roster. Um, yeah, so yeah, I mean it's very impressive. That was their third team title of the year, um, which is again a lot of success for the team.
Yeah.
Uh, Having the success going into this time of year is definitely great. I mean, now one thing that's a little unfortunate is, there is absolutely no doubt that they're not going to win the conference outside of a crazy, uh, uh, unfortunate set of circumstances. Could they not win the conference tournament? Um, Now, so the team race is kind of um, decided. Some individual matches I do think could be interesting to watch, and I'm gonna do like a little bit of a breakdown or a um, preview of that, and then next time maybe when you're in Florida we can go over it and talk about it
Yeah.
and see how accurate I get it.
I think Honolulu will have 10 kids in the finals.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I go over the dual meets and stuff, I'll find out. Unfortunately, the difference between high school and college is, um, once they wrestle once, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find out who's gonna win the second time.
Well, I used to think that was one of the best things I did as a coach. The second time we won,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
got
yeah,
beat the first time, we won the second time.
yeah. I mean, again, I definitely would agree that some matches can definitely happen like that. I think where we're at
What,
right now, it doesn't seem
what
like
do you think
that's.
though? Do you think how many teams will have full teams at the conference?
I think all of them. I mean, Harlem put out a full team for the dual
Yeah.
meet. East put a full team out for the dual
East
meet.
got some crazy good kids.
Yeah, they have about three or four kids that I think
Yeah.
three are gonna, I think they have three kids that could qualify. I think they have four to five that could make it to that final round at
Yeah.
sectionals. Um, but yeah, they have some really good kids. I mean, Lee Smith is currently ranked, I think, third.
Is he staying in
Don
heavyweight?
He is. He's staying at heavyweight. I
Okay.
talked to him at the dual meet and I asked him if he was staying at heavyweight, and he's all of heavyweight now. He's not even, if you get close to him, when I asked him, he was like kind of like, no, I'm big, because he's big now. He's not, I don't think he's probably uh I think he's probably 240, I would
Okay.
assume, you know. Um
I only saw him wrestle early in the year.
yeah, but he looks pretty good. What's
Oh,
funny
he's
is
athletic as hell.
I put that video out and he totally got a false start and the ref didn't stop it. If you see the video, the whistle blows, then he's already on the leg. It was so
Really?
funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny to watch. But I mean, he dominated the kid after that, anyways. But yeah, he's pretty impressive on his feet for a heavyweight. I was surprised to hear that at that Sycamore tournament he got pinned in the finals by a 3A heavyweight. So,
Who was that?
um, uh, making me look all this stuff up. Good thing I have northernillinoiswrestling.com where I
Right.
post the results, because now I can go real quick and look at who he lost to. He lost to Abasai Hernandez of Mundelein. So, kid that is far away from here that I have not seen wrestle outside of that tournament, but um, yeah, he got pinned by him.
I tell you what, we're getting more followers too.
Yeah, yeah, for the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people are tuning in. I talked to a dad today that he said he had listened. I think I'm going to play around with a little bit more of you know, publishing like clips of the segments on Facebook and stuff. But yeah, I think I think I'm really excited about the off season and trying to figure out how to do some off season tournament series. Again, I love this conversation around freestyle, folk style, and Greco, because it's actually motivated me to kind of like really be very stern about some of these things, about some of these kids and where they're at skill wise, and really encouraging them to take a different route for the purpose of development, so that next year they're better than they were this year, whether it's the talk about the hand fighting and the benefits of maybe a Greco versus freestyle, or a folk style, and say, hey, we're still doing 2 minute periods. We're not going to do this off season wrestling stuff where they do 1 minute period so that they can get out of the gym early. No, get off bottom, right?
I know.
Um, and I also talked to Terry Giardini, where he and I are going to go up to Wisconsin, Madison on Sunday for the Ohio State duel. I'm going to record some behind the scenes footage
Of
him
him?
of him being a college evaluator for the officials. And what we talked about is using the off season as an opportunity to really start developing officials, so that the officials are
Yeah,
not
no
just,
kid.
yeah, just so they're not just people who are looking for a paycheck, but looking for to be a really good official to make our wrestling environment exciting. Because we've talked about this before, but we need we need to create dual meets that are exciting for people to be at, and the refs are a very big part of the flow of the match. And so yeah, he and I had a good conversation, but yeah, I'm excited about to start to implement some of that stuff. Obviously, it will always be a smaller um, amount of stuff than it is right now in the season. But yeah, I think
The crazy thing with Terry is that how many Division 1 officials are there in this area of any sport? And he's one of the best. He is.
yeah.
I mean, he's just, and he's got the persona. He's great at it. He does a good job. So I just couldn't understand why he was always reffing the East Tynega dual meet.
Yeah. Well, he's reffing Hananiga, Duran, and Dakota
like I
tomorrow.
said, I didn't say that. I said East Tynega back when we were
Yeah.
both really good.
Yeah.
And I think
Well,
his brother was the head
yeah.
coach at Art East.
Yeah, but he didn't play favorites with his brother, did he?
No, God,
I feel
no.
like I feel like he did the opposite.
Oh, it was awesome. I loved it. It was
Yeah.
those dual meets with East and us and Terry Reffin and Perry, the coach, were some of the best things that I've ever been around in high school history. It was so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah, again, this is one of the reasons why
I mean, some people forget that Perry Giardini had it down. I mean, I learned from him.
yeah.
I mean, he went and found kids in just the same way I did, and it was that program was rolling just like we were, and it was so much fun.
Yeah. Well, here's what I would say: if anybody's listening, and I'll put it on you. If you know anybody that has any video from that, you should really talk to well, one, talk to your son about maybe he has some programs to um put it from VHS or DVD to
Right.
the internet. I think that's some of the stuff that I'm looking to find, so that we can kind of, I have old footage from my own matches, but I don't know how many dual meets I have. But if that would be fun to kind of see if there was ability to see it. Obviously, cameras were a little bit different back then and stuff like that. So,
But I mean,
um,
I when I coached, my wife in the beginning, man, I'm talking like 1989. We had a camera and she videoed for me,
all right,
but
well, maybe you have some.
I don't know where the hell it is. So
You
and
just videoed it. You didn't have
the best part about Marianne was
it.
she was up in the stands and she was yelling and she had no clue about the sport of wrestling. It was like the first time. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, just video and just kind of stay quiet until you learn what you know what you're doing. Now she knows everything about the sport. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it would be great
that's
to have
funny.
some of that old footage of guys like you
Yeah,
and just
we could go over matches and stuff. I think that
oh,
that
it'd
would
be
be fun.
awesome.
Yeah, especially some of the either the conference or state matches. I think that would be fun to watch and do some stuff with it. But yeah, tons of stuff. I think it's a positive stuff. Positive things are happening.
Oh,
So
totally.
yeah, but
I think
all
I
right.
think I think the conference is going to have a few place winners this year.
Yeah.
I really do. I think
But
he's gonna have a couple place winners. I think Hananiga's gonna have. I don't want to say anything, but I got a feeling they might break a record
yeah, what is the record?
of state place winners
Yeah, in a single
or
year.
state qualifiers.
Placers,
3.
3.
Yeah, that was when Steve Dwyer, Adam Latella both took. Steve won it. Adam took second, and Rob Fenical took
Yeah.
like fourth or fifth.
Speaking of, Google sheet.
We had 7 state qualifiers at one time, and I think 2 guys finished fourth back when there was only 2 classes.
Here, let me show you. Well, yeah, I'll show you this, but I have Hananiga, 1995, 4 qualifiers. Where did I get the placers though? Yeah. 2006, we had 5 placers in the conference. I know myself was 1, 3 from.
Well, we had 4 state champions from 4 different teams one time too.
Yeah, that was in 1999. But yeah, yeah, I think they could do it. I think that they have a couple kids that I think they could. For the longest time, I was really proud of the fact that freshman state placers. There were only 3. Myself, Brandon, and Cal, and then obviously East freshman Donald Cannon joined the group. So there's 4, but Hananiga could potentially add 3 in one season, and it could go from 4 to 7.
They could have 3 in the parade.
Yeah, but I'm saying 3 freshman state placers.
But I'm saying they could have 3 in the parade, freshmen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You think?
I do.
Yeah.
I really do. I just think that I think they're wrestling well, and I mean,
Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. I mean, I'm not throwing anything on them. I'm just saying that they could be a great year. Like when I was in the wrestling early in the year, I was like, oh, it's a wrestling program again.
Yeah.
There's kids. I mean, there's wrestlers.
Yeah, and it was really good to see that TJ's back and he was wrestling well. He won the tournament, so
yep.
He's ready to go. We'll see.
Yeah, who says he doesn't get in the finals too?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Champaign ready to wrestle, you can find your way to
and he's
whatever
been
place
there.
you want.
So
yeah,
he's going to teach those kids how to do it.
Yeah,
they
he's
don't
not.
have anybody. They don't have any state qualifiers. Hananiga doesn't have any from the last couple of years, but now they're going to learn.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's definitely going to be someone who's comfortable with that scenario.
And their coach was a 2-time second place winner.
Yeah,
Tyler knows what the hell's going on, and Anthony Myers was part of 4 state qualifying teams to duels, so he knows what the hell's going on. So they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm looking forward to it. I've got my. I think I have my room for the state tournament set up. So
we're already back at the hotel that we went to for 33 years. We're coming down. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually reach out and try to figure out the media stuff so we can have everything set up. And it's good that you're gonna go down there because what I need is we need to do update podcasts after every session. So
perfect.
Yeah, so we can jump on and talk about everybody who's competing and where they're at and stuff like that. So
and don't forget to bring your clubs with you too, because sometimes it's 60 degrees down there.
Yeah, you think we'll jump out and jump on the course?
In between sessions, we could play 9.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, it's not hard to put them in the trunk.
Right. Exactly.
So
it'll be fun. It'll be awesome. I can't wait to go up to the Illinois old wrestling room. It was brought back a ton of memories, man. I know their new facility is going to be great, but Huff Hall was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Good memories. All right. Well, let's finish up here and we'll talk soon.
Yeah. I'll be in Florida.
Enjoy your trip.
See ya.